Hamas executed a man it accused of spying for Israel. In the same week, anti-Hamas protesters in Gaza stayed home, not because they support Hamas, but because they're terrified of it. One resident said it plainly: "No one can imagine the level of fear Hamas has instilled since 1987. Gaza has a ceasefire. Hamas still has the guns." Hamas has reportedly executed a Palestinian man in the Gaza Strip after accusing him of collaborating with Israeli intelligence. According to a London-based Arabic newspaper, Asharq Al-Awsat, citing sources of Hamas-affiliated Resistance Security, which announced the execution of a 47-year-old man identified as MM. Hamas-affiliated Resistance Security insider in an interview with the newspaper said,
Hamas executed a man identified as MM for working with Israeli intelligence. The 47-year-old MM's actions led to the death of several Palestinians, including former Izz al-Din al-Qassam Brigade's commander, Izz al-Din Haddad.
According to Hamas sources cited by Asharq Al-Awsat, MM was arrested after the assassination of Izz al-Din Haddad in May, when he was allegedly seen communicating with Israeli intelligence. Sources claimed he was later spotted at Al-Shifa Hospital, verifying the identities of those killed in the Israeli strike that targeted Haddad. They further alleged that MM confessed shortly after his arrest, admitting he had been present at the strike scene and had provided intelligence that contributed to the killing of around 30 Hamas operatives. Sources also claimed surveillance equipment was found in MM's possession. However, these claims have not been independently verified. Meanwhile, the Jerusalem Post wrote that calls for anti-Hamas protests last month drew limited participation despite years of war and humanitarian devastation.
No one can imagine the level of fear and intimidation Hamas has instilled in people's hearts since its foundation in 1987. People are simply too afraid to protest, even now, after all they've been through. This is because Hamas is still here, controlling people's lives, and nobody can say a word.
The Gaza City resident also claimed that social pressure and fear of being branded collaborators discouraged people from joining the protests.
The protest ended in failure because there was a lot of pressure on people to keep silent. Anyone who even considered joining the rallies refrained from doing so, as participants were labeled traitors and agents of anarchy.
Separately, Ynet cited unidentified Gazan sources who said Hamas deployed fighters near planned gathering points to prevent demonstrations from spreading, while movement inside displacement camps was restricted and some mobile phones were reportedly confiscated from people linked to protest calls. These accounts have not been independently verified. The Israel Defense Forces have reportedly delivered a stark warning to the country's top military leadership, raising fresh concerns that Hamas is preparing for another round of war. According to a report by Israel's public broadcaster Khan, the Military Intelligence Directorate and Southern Command submitted an assessment last week to IDF Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Eyal Zamir, warning that Hamas's military wing is rebuilding its capabilities despite the ceasefire. The report states that Hamas is now producing hundreds of explosive devices and anti-tank missiles every month while recruiting new fighters between the ages of 18 and 22. Intelligence officers also believe the group has resumed training members of its elite Nukba force. In addition, Hamas is reportedly reconstructing underground infrastructure across Gaza that was destroyed during 2 years of fighting, and is attempting to smuggle drones and communication equipment from Egypt's Sinai Peninsula. According to the report, officers warn that Hamas remains firmly in control on the ground.
Hamas is strong on the ground. Nobody is threatening it, and the organization is unwilling to give up control of Gaza.
Faced with these developments, the report says the Israeli military believes it must eventually resume its offensive against Hamas. However, the United States reportedly opposes that course of action. Instead, Washington is said to favor preserving the current situation in Gaza while continuing to promote President Donald Trump's Board of Peace initiative. Its second phase, however, has yet to materialize. That stage calls for a gradual Israeli withdrawal from Gaza, the disarmament of Hamas, and the deployment of an international security force. Hamas insists it will not surrender its weapons until Israel fulfills all commitments made during the first phase, including expanding humanitarian aid, withdrawing troops, and ending military strikes. Meanwhile, the Board of Peace's Gaza envoy, Nikolay Mladenov, argues that Israel should only be expected to meet those commitments once Hamas agrees to disarm. As negotiations remain stalled, Israeli military operations have continued almost daily. The IDF says its strikes are aimed at preventing ceasefire violations and disrupting planned attacks against Israeli troops. Alongside these strikes, Israel has gradually expanded the territory under its control inside Gaza. The military now says it controls at least 60% of the Strip, compared with approximately 53% when the ceasefire first took effect. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said last month that he had instructed the military to retake additional territory, increasing Israeli control to around 70% of Gaza. Outside those areas, Hamas continues to function as Gaza's de facto governing authority. Power is only expected to transfer to a transitional administration if Hamas agrees to surrender its weapons. Until then, despite years of war and heavy losses, the organization is reported to be maintaining its grip over Gaza while eliminating opponents it considers a threat to its rule. An Israeli Defense Forces intelligence document, circulated in recent days among the political leadership, warns that Hamas is managing to recover significantly under the cover of the ceasefire. According to the report, Hamas is using the lull in fighting to strengthen both its military and civilian control over the Gaza Strip, while international attention remains focused on other regional fronts. The document states that Hamas is systematically organizing and improving its force-building capabilities, with a particular emphasis on rebuilding its military wing. This includes accelerated recruitment of new operatives, efforts that security officials say have shown measurable success despite previous losses during the war. In addition, Hamas is reportedly taking control of goods entering the Strip, consolidating its influence over humanitarian supplies and infrastructure. The report also highlights attempts by the group to demonstrate civil and governmental authority in areas under its control, reinforcing its position on the ground. While the intelligence assessment notes that Hamas has not yet achieved a significant technological or operational breakthrough, it warns that the group is steadily advancing its recovery in a gradual but concerning manner. Security sources indicate that developments beyond Gaza are contributing to this process. Ongoing confrontations involving Iran and Lebanon are said to be diverting attention away from the Strip, allowing Hamas to operate with fewer immediate pressures. According to officials familiar with the findings, this shift in focus, particularly from the United States and Israel, has enabled Hamas to gain time and avoid meeting commitments outlined in President Donald Trump's peace plan. The intelligence document explicitly states that Hamas is stalling for time while simultaneously organizing and improving its force building, including the rehabilitation of its military wing and expansion of its operational base. Senior figures within Israel's security establishment have expressed deep concern over these developments, warning that the current trajectory could undermine the achievements of the war and create conditions for future instability. The report has also triggered strong political reactions. Former Prime Minister Naftali Bennett criticized the government, stating that the war was intended to defeat Hamas. Yet the current situation is allowing the group to recover and prepare for future attacks.
Our heroic fighters did not fight in Gaza to hand it over to Hamas on a silver platter. We went to war to defeat Hamas, which slaughtered our sons and daughters, but this weak government is letting it recover and train for the next massacre. Under this government, Hamas is recovering before Neroz. A nation of winners deserves a leadership that knows how to win. The fix will come soon.
Former Chief of Staff Gadi Eisenkot echoed these concerns, accusing the leadership of ignoring clear warnings from the military.
Netanyahu is once again receiving clear warnings from the military echelon and ignoring them. The total victory government is spreading hollow slogans when in reality Hamas is rehabilitating, recruiting terrorists, rebuilding military power, and establishing civilian control.
Opposition leader Yair Lapid also responded, describing the developments as a failure of political leadership. A ceasefire intended to stabilize the situation now appears to be creating new uncertainties. And as Hamas continues to rebuild under the cover of calm, one question grows more urgent. Has the pause in fighting become an opportunity for the next conflict to take shape?